A lot of tanglefoot. You see red on the one side?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're going to go right. So with that great intro, yeah, as soon as we walked out on the road, my Phasm cam was dead. And it was dead because I was running off the batteries and I wasn't running off the battery pack that I have located on the back of the helmet. And if you purchase a Phasm cam, what you get is you get the camera, and it comes with a waterproof case, so you don't have to buy that separate. But it also comes with an adapter so that you can just slide the Phasm cam right in there and use your standard GoPro mounts. Now, for whatever reason, and I have no clue why it was, but I could not for the life of me remember how I connected the Phasm cams so that they ran non-stop when I got there. So what I did was I ran it in the waterproof case that first night. All right, and I just put spare batteries in my pocket and went out. And what that's going to do is that's going to really make the audio pretty bad in all but one specific situation, because believe it or not, this case, well, because of the camera being in the case, the audio is going to be muted a little bit different, and it's going to result in a very unsuspected capture. So what exactly was that? Now, some people would dismiss it as a bug, but I don't believe that's correct. I believe what you're looking at is actually an owl in flight. So if you haven't seen an owl without feathers, you'll find that there's not much to them but feathers. In fact, an owl, from the looks of it, 80% of its body mass is feathers. So that gives quite a bit of insulation. And let's not forget about the special adaptation that owls have on their wings that cuts turbulence as they fly. And turbulence helps to create heat. So, what got me onto this is that up north, I also have a similar capture that I took back in November. And we started chasing this down with the help of my friends. And right now, and especially since you can see the wing beat as I slow it down, um, we're pretty certain that what we're looking at here in that video and subsequent captures that they're owls. Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing snapping right over here, directly in front of us. Whoa! You see that? Freaking bird. Or a bat. That was cool. Okay. Might have to back out because I don't know if I can handle these mosquitoes. I don't think it does. I'm still hearing it. Okay. We gotta turn around. I can't take these bugs.
Already.
red light? Going IR. See red? Alright, let's hoof it. Okay. So this red light, going to IR. See red?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, let's hoof it. Well, I don't want to get anywhere where we can lose the trail. And this is starting to get a little iffy. Coyotes? Did you just hear that? Was that far away? Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where you at? Ooh, come this way. I just got that creepy feeling. you definitely heard it go off. Something moved through the brush. Hmm. I'm going red.
This is
What's that?
this is
Is it that way or this way?
not that one.
The camp's over there.
Well, there are groups that just meets up with the road. They say the road goes down and then tees.
Maybe. Well, let's go towards the sound. Recording 10:14. That also, but the cadence was kind of small.
Sound of movement or just
Sound of movement.
maybe like squirrel size.
Is that? Yeah, I would have said squirrel raccoon size maybe.
Mm-hmm.
light-headed there. Not sure what that was about. Hang on. Starting Spectroid now. Resetting. Max hold. Now you may be asking yourself, what is Spectroid? And I'm going to tell you. Spectroid is a free app that allows you to measure the ambient vocal frequencies that surround you. And it goes anywhere from basically 0 hertz all the way up, I think, to 3,000 or 30,000. And I use it looking for signs of infrasound. I know there's a lot of people out there saying that you have to use special equipment for infrasound, but my take is that infrasound's got a lot of power, and today's phones use very quality microphones on them. And so if you got something pushing out a lot of power, you got something that's got quality microphones, there's a good possibility that you might be able to see if there's any signs of infrasound in your area. And what you're looking for is below 23 hertz. I didn't put the line down there. And I'm looking for, that's my cursor moving around there. I'm looking for this area to reach up in the 50s. Unfortunately, I'm going to shut this off. And I'm really going to wish that I had it on later on. A lot of trails. Boy, you could really get messed up walking down in there.
Mm-hmm. I said it was a T.
So I'm guessing they're right in there. I turned the fucking light down once.
You did. Yeah, right. And for some reason I said everything.
CFB, this is Trackway, radio check. CFB, this is Trackway, radio check. Ooh, there's a rut right there. Pretty soft and sandy soil. Notice that? I just saw my breath. That's interesting.
It's currently 66 degrees.
And time to do a camera check, make sure it's still running.
So this little bit of breath that you can see had us perplexed. So we reached out to a couple friends to see what they thought. basically, I would have to walk into an area of substantially cooler air that's below the dew point in order to see my breath like this. And looking at the data, that the low for the night, I think it was 65, 66, 65. It was 65, 66 at the time. The dew point was 63.5. That means I would have had to step into a pocket of air that was 62 degrees. So I thought, well, it might be possible because I did come across a ditch that there was water running, and I looked for it, but that's still down the trail. So, yeah, don't have an answer for it as of now, other than I don't know. So I'm going to take a few moments and I redubbed the H1N audio to match up better with the Phasm Cam, because this next capture I think is the one that, well, it definitely has me perplexed.
Let's see if that's a trail. That can't be a trail. You're starting to get into local noise there. There's seeing my breath again. Okay, look, we're just out here having a good time. I suspect you're close. In fact, I suspect you're right over here. If you're right over here, can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. Do you hear that? Okay. I heard you. We're gonna turn around and head back the other way.
So that H1N captured exactly what we experienced. I said that out loud, and then about 30, I don't know, somewhere like 30, 40 yards to my 2 o'clock position, there was a slight little knock. Okay? What I'm going to play next is the raw video taken by the Phasm Cam inside the case. You're going to hear a difference. And then I'm going to take that, put it on Audio Lab, and make it so that it's a little bit louder so you can hear everything.
Let's see if that's a trail. That can't be a trail. Starting to get into local noise there. There's seeing my breath again. Okay. Look, we're just out here having a good time. I suspect you're close. In fact, I suspect you're right over here. If you're right over here, can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. You hear that? Okay. I heard you. We're gonna turn around and head back the other way. I suspect you're right over here. If you're right over here, can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. You hear that? Okay. I heard you. We're gonna turn around and head back the other way. You're right over here. Okay. Starting to get into local noise there. Starting to get into local noise there. See my breath again. Okay. Look, we're just out here having a good time. Let's see if that's a trail. That can't be a trail. Starting to get into local noise there. See my breath again. Okay. Look, we're just out here having a good time. I suspect you're close. In fact, I suspect you're right over here. If you're right over here, can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. Do you hear that? Okay. I heard you. We're gonna turn around and head back the other way. Give me a knock. Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. Do you hear that? Okay. I heard you. We're gonna turn around and head back the other way. Can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. Do you hear that? Okay. I heard you. We're gonna turn around and head back the other way. There's seeing my breath again. Okay, look, we're just out here having a good time. I suspect you're close. In fact, I suspect you're right over here. If you're right over here, can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. Do you hear that? Okay. I heard you. I'm seeing my breath again. Okay. Look, we're just out here having a good time. I suspect you're close. In fact, I suspect you're right over here. If you're right over here, can you give me a knock? Just knock on a piece of wood or something. Ain't gonna mess with you. Don't worry. If you want me to leave, one knock. Do you hear that? Okay. I heard you.
I ran the original Phasmcam audio. I did note that there was another extra noise present in the audio, which made me start to question if possibly it was something that I was doing, a movement or whatever, that was transferring the noise out to the waterproof enclosure. And so what I did was I took both audios and gave them a little bit more power so I could sit and I could stare at them and point out, pick up where there's a little extra item here and there between the two. Now I was only really able to find the two items, one the wood knock and one a different, I'm not quite sure what it is, another different spike somewhere in there. I ran it, and since when I do the collages like this, the top and bottom, I'm stuck to 1 minute what I had to do was separate it in two halves, do the front and then do the back half, and study it. And then the next thing I did was I took the audio and I took it back to Audio Lab because I wanted to see if I could pick up the wood knock from the H1N and check it against the exact time of the wood knock, suspect wood knock, in the Phasm cam. And they both indeed checked out to being 1 second and 1 minute and 32 seconds, almost on the nose. So that leads me to them being of the same source, but I still have an issue here in that, let's say the reason that I'm hearing it differently from the Phasm cam is because, it's a lower frequency carrying a little bit more power. One that I can't hear, something below 32 hertz or something like that. And that made me question, why wouldn't I notice an effect in the H1N? Maybe it is a sensitivity issue. I'm not sure if such a thing. But, right now, what I have is something that to be mindful about. For those that, go on about scientific theory and, applying the sciences and all that, I get it. But you got to have a starting point. And so now, I have the equipment that, I can set up. It's pretty easy to do. One camera by itself, one camera in a waterproof case, and an H1N all together on one tripod. And I have all that equipment and just take it out there and see if I can capture a wood knock and note any differences. Is there a difference between an enclosure? Is there, I guess the proper terminology is a change of state or a change of speed. Whenever sound travels through a medium, it changes speed, such as water, walls, stuff like that. Is that a real player in this? Or again, are we back to the de facto, which either I'm causing it, or maybe, I'm turning my head and the camera bouncing around in the enclosure, which is pretty tight. It's just the thing that kind of throws it off is, it is the timing. The timing is like right spot on. In both. The reaction is spot on for both. So at this point, it's inconclusive as to exactly what I have or what I've captured. And so now I actually have a point, a starting point of experimentation, which I think may be a first. Whether or not it actually pans out into being a true data point, that's a good question. Because, if you're out to prove the existence of something, you gotta have a starting point. And if you want to apply the scientific method, you have to begin somewhere other than, I believe there's a creature out there. You have to have a specific. I believe there's something out there, that might be recordable in this situation and that situation. Okay, so what's my general consensus at the time? Because I've spent a hell of a lot of time on a stupid wood knock, right? Part of me can't help but suspect there's something there. But that's the thing about these things. You always suspect, and yeah, try not to get too excited because you probably get let down in the end. But I think it's a worthwhile experiment to chase. And if it ends up being a negative, it's a negative. No, whatever. But on the outside chance that it could be a positive, it's worth testing out. Like I said, it's a starting point, something unique. Trying to chase this thing down and finding, you can't keep going around in circles like we've had for umpteen years, can you? You got to find somewhere. You got to have something to begin with. And this one is interesting, and it seems to be an easy experiment to do, and minus the helmet cam. This is something that you should be able to do stand alone, and hopefully capture something. And then you have 3 points of data. So, that or else I'm just, been listening to audio and videos entirely too freaking long. On to the next, which is going to be, oddly enough, the night audio. Okay, so I did have an audio bomb out, and the audio bomb was located out in front of my campsite about 40 yards out. To my left side, there was a water jack or a pump jack. It was about 40 yards away. Beyond that was probably another 50 yards, I would say, to the next campsite. And then to my east was Brian and Chewy. There's about 20 yards, 15, 20 yards. There was another vehicle next to mine, but both Mike and Christian were staying in a tent about 35 yards in the opposite direction. And I do understand that there are other campers. There's 25 of us here. So, I'm not quite sure. I can't really say that, somebody didn't make this sound on accident or anything of that nature. But with that all said, let's get to the first one. And the way I do my captures, I use a CQT, I think it's called. So it's a musical scale. File name's first, the recording time is next on that file time, and then next to it you have the time of day. The H1N recorders were off, the internal clocks were all off. So very important lesson learned that you must, at the beginning of starting an audio, timestamp it and timestamp the close. They ended up being off by like an hour and 19 minutes. Now all the captures that I have, everything that I've put together, I will be putting it on my drive and trying to get it on Dropbox for everybody to look at and dig into. I don't mind. I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm not doing this for the money, although I wouldn't turn money down. I ain't, I'm doing this for my own answers, and you are welcome to join me along for the ride. So, let's start with the first one. It's a possible something. I'm not quite sure what I wrote down. So, let's take a listen.
Yeah, that could be a North American mat squatch. Running through Maryland. Yeah, Maryland didn't have anything for it. See if I can find anything on iHunt. Nope, didn't come across. So it's got to be a mat squatch. And I just have to chuckle, Matt. You're not alone. When we went to Whitehall, I successfully set off my car alarm when we went to bed, and then I successfully set off my car alarm when we woke up. So you're not alone. Just want to let you know, okay? This little ribbing. But let's go on to the next video. Next to audio. Okay, this occurs kind of early, so I did make a whole video for it. So let's just keep an eye on it. This was at 5:23 in the morning. So, to me, like I said, I'm not familiar with the wildlife down there, and as difficult as this might be for some to believe, there are minute differences between the sounds of like a Florida whitetail versus an Ohio or even New York whitetail. And that's because there's like 50 subspecies of white-tailed deer. And the other thing I thought about it too is it had kind of an avian quality to it, but there is something going on behind it. When I start adding volume, I have to be careful that I don't, add so much as to where it starts distorting the audio itself. The next one, I'm not the only one who captured it. So another member of the 25 caught it as well. So I don't know if the recording times are the same. I haven't heard back from him yet, but we'll find out. So one of the things that I did kind of think about was that, this kind of might have a bit of a feline sound to it. I'm not quite certain. And I take it back, there is one more audio to hear.
Did I write it down? Okay, this audio, I know I didn't put the file time, the recording time, and everything on it. I had just found it this afternoon. I had been watching YouTube, came across Tim T's audio, and I thought, you know what, let's go back and listen to it for a little bit more. And yeah, that's when I came across this one. So let's play it. Yeah, I know it's a long video. And the reason for that is because I'm listening for any tells as to what it is. I'm also listening to see if there's any kind of movement on the ground. Something right there. So we'll go to the next. Let's see how high that is. And I'm sorry for the sounds of the rain, but that's all I can do about it right now. To me, that sounds like speech. Followed by a cow. And I'm going to crank it up a little more. So, I don't know exactly what that is. Like I said, that second part there sounds like a cow.